Hey entrepreneur, this is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. Welcome to this special presentation entitled Three Simple Ways to Profit from Newsletters, especially if you don't intend to publish one yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is going to focus on three incredibly simple and powerful, not to mention profitable ways that you and I can profit from newsletters, especially if you don't plan on or have time to publish one yourself. You can and still make money via the newsletter route. Absolutely. So what we're going to focus on in this incredibly simple video is the three extremely powerful ways that newsletters offered huge profit potential to savvy entrepreneurs such as yourself. Here's the first thing you can do. Ladies and gentlemen, let's suppose you and I have non-competing newsletters and we have a similar size subscription base. Let's say we both have 15,000 people on our subscriptions. And what we could just agree to do is swap display ads in as many issues as we want. So in other words, we could both agree that, hey, I'll run your ad, your display ad for a year in my newsletter, and you do the same. Now, here's the other thing to think about. Let's suppose you have 20,000 subscribers and I only have half. Well, in that particular case, I'll just agree to run your display ad twice as many times as you agree to run mine. Now you see how this doesn't limit you from being able to trade up, if you will. In other words, you could approach people who have much bigger newsletter subscriptions than you do currently and still strike up a cross promotion, and or a joint venture with them. This is incredibly powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear this all the time where people talk about doing email swaps. In other words, I send out my link to you, send out your link, my link to your audience, and vice versa. Well, this stuff didn't start online, ladies and gentlemen. It started offline. So swapping display ads is very powerful. Now here's a sort of sister strategy, number two, if you will. We could both agree to exchange our best market tested inserts and piggyback off each other's mailings. So in other words, I could agree to put one of your mailings inside of my newsletter, and you get to keep 100% of the profits if you're trying to sell a product outright, or if you're trying to get people to opt in. And you could do the same for me, meaning I could give you one of my best market tested inserts, and we'll just agree to swap. You'll keep your profit, I'll keep mine. Now stop and think about that concept, ladies and gentlemen. If you could do it with one newsletter subscriber, is there any reason why you couldn't do it with multiples? Absolutely not. It's just a matter of negotiation, getting your feet wet, seeing what works best for you and them, and there you go. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little more sophisticated, but here's the way this might work. Let's say you have a newsletter and I have a newsletter. We're non-compete. So what we agree is, let's say I would give away a free 3-month trial subscription to my audience, offer it to them as a bonus or whatever, and for every person that upgrades, in other words, once that 3-month subscription is up, every person that upgrades to a full, at least 12-month paid subscription to your newsletter or vice versa, I'm going to give you a 40% credit off the cost of your ads. So in the case of me, let's suppose I'm giving this to my audience, and every time one of my subscribers upgrades and decides to get your newsletter for a year and they pay for 12 months worth of subscription, you're going to give me 40% or 25% or some form of credit off the cost of a display ad. This is incredibly powerful because now I have an incentive, do I not? Now, if you think, you say, well, wait a minute, Mark, in the first concept, you said we would swap display ads. Well, what if I'm one of those smaller people that I'm talking about? In other words, what if you have 20,000 subscribers and I only have 3,000? Well, you don't probably want to do a swap with me right now, but you would certainly be open to me promoting your newsletter and then just giving me credit against any advertising I might want to run. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Hopefully you can see in this incredibly short video three incredibly simple and yet powerful ways that you and I can profit from newsletters. So with that said, For those of you who want to discover how you're going to add an additional 25% or more gross profit to your bottom line, entrepreneur, do so in the next 90 days or less without having to add any new customers or clients. You definitely want to grab your free 9-page special report. Just head over to youcanmarketonlinenow.com/sales, because that's where you can get it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a little more, some more advanced marketing strategies, then it's highly recommended that you grab your free 22-part Small Business Marketing Mastery Series. That's an extra free gift you get when you opt in to get that free special report. It's an additional 22 emails, just so you know, and of course you can unsubscribe anytime that you wish, but it's going to give you some of the proven inside marketing strategies that a lot of the 6, 7, and 8-figure marketers on and offline use. And it's a $97 value. This is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. We'll see you again next time on the Marketing Minute.